Hi YouTube, it's Robbie. Decided to post another video mainly because, well, the reason I haven't posted for a while is because I haven't really had much to say, because I've been busy learning more about this practice, meeting people and generally getting on with my life, running around like a mad person, chanting every morning and every night as much as I can, and doing my best to sort of, keep moving things forward in my life. I was lucky enough to meet a lovely young man who gave me a book, or lent me a book, called The Buddha in Daily Life, which I thoroughly recommend. The Buddha in Daily Life by Richard Corsten. It's an introduction to the Buddhism of Nichiren Buddhism, which is a fantastic tome of sort of details about everything to do with Buddhist life and the practice and the philosophy behind it. Because at the end of the day, being Buddhist isn't just about chanting. It's about study, it's about sharing, it's about living your life in a way that is mutually beneficial to yourself, your environment, and the people around you. One of the sort of principles of Nichiren Buddhism is something called the 10 worlds. Now, the 10 worlds are 10 states, not necessarily worlds where you live and then exist, but 10 states where human beings, you could say, mentally exist at any one point throughout the day. This could be anger, this could be suffering, as they call hell, all kinds of different names. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to read from the chapter, the 10 worlds, from this book, because I wanted to share it with you, because it does really go into a lot of detail and is quite good with analogy and stuff like that. So if anybody out there doesn't sort of understand the whole principle of the 10 worlds, and this should explain it. What it does, the whole point of this is to illustrate why we chant myoho renge, what it's for. As you may or may not know, myoho renge is not some magic medicine that you can take and suddenly your life is going to get better. Far from it. What it does is it acts as a way of elevating your life state. For example, if you've just broken up with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, or you've just been fired from your job, you're in a state of hell, a state of suffering. You're going through a lot of emotion, raw emotion, okay? And what Nichiren Daishonin said was that if you chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, in a way what it does is it activates your life force. In a way it will lift you out of that state. If you chant with strength, it will lift you out of that state. Anyway, what I'm going to do is going to read from the book and tell you about what it says. So, the 10 worlds, chapter 1. Imagine it is a Monday morning. The alarm has just gone off, waking you from a deep and peaceful sleep. With a groan, you drag yourself out of bed and pull the curtains. It is raining. You get dressed and go into the kitchen, where you put the kettle on, feed the cat, then settle down to your own breakfast. You note with interest from the back of the cereal packet that your bowl of cornflakes provides at least a quarter of an average daily recommended intake of vitamins B12, 6, and 1. And D. And just then hear the flap of the letterbox rattle. There are 2 letters, one from the electricity board and the other from the tax office. Fearing the worst, you decide to open the electricity bill first. It is enormous, in fact it's outrageous. Deciding that those stupid bureaucrats at the electricity board must have made a mistake, you resolve to write them a stiff letter the minute you get to work. But then, it was a very cold winter, and you did leave the heating on for most of the night. Most of the time. Your heart sinks. They might be right after all, and if they are, there goes your summer holiday. Feeling depressed, you open the ominous brown envelope from the Inland Revenue, and it's a tax rebate, more than enough money to pay the electricity bill, right or wrong, and have a plenty of money left over for a holiday. You whoop for joy and go off to work, oblivious of the pouring rain. Apart from the tax rebate, perhaps, the passage above could be said to describe a perfectly ordinary and average morning, one experienced with variations by millions of people every day throughout the country, and the world, of course. In the course of this short vignette, however, you have experienced 9 of the 10 worlds. The 10 worlds, or 10 states of life, an absolutely fundamental principle of Buddhism, teaches that everybody possesses 10 inner states of being, which we all experience from moment to moment. Briefly, these 10 worlds are hell, hunger, animality, anger, tranquility, rapture, learning, realization, bodhisattva, and of course finally Buddhahood. To explain a little further, hell is a state of suffering, hunger is a state of being under the sway of desires, animality is a state of instinctive behavior, and anger is a state of constant competition or conflict, in which one tries arrogantly to suppress others. The first three are called the three evil paths, and together with anger comprise the four evil paths, varying conditions of unhappiness. Tranquility is a neutral state of peace and calm, and rapture is a state of being temporarily overjoyed, gratification of desire. The six states from hell to rapture are also called the six paths and arise spontaneously in our lives when prompted by external factors. In contrast, the four remaining worlds, called the Four Noble Paths, are characterized by the inner effort it takes to manifest them. The state of learning is that in which we learn something from the teachings of others, while the state of realization is that in which we come to some partial understanding of life, however great or small, through our own efforts and our own observations. Bodhisattva is the true state of altruism, of finding joy through helping others. And finally, the state of Buddhahood is defined as absolute happiness and is attained only as a result of the actions we take when we're in the state of Bodhisattva. It may seem simplistic to reduce the whole range of human experience to just 10 states, but, as Daisaku Ikeda says, the 10 states are abstract in the sense that they are generalities drawn from human experience, having taken into account that all various conditions in which the self must exist. Buddhist philosophers conclude that there are 10 basic life conditions. The number is not accidental, nor was it chosen because 10 is basis of the decimal system or some such thing as that. It was chosen as it is all-inclusive on the one hand, and on the other it finds the smallest number of categories. Each category would have meant combining two essentially different states, 12, which would mean dividing what was essentially two single states to make 4. I assure you the whole thing has been well thought out. Bearing these brief explanations of the 10 worlds in mind, let us look again at the description of the start of the average day. Firstly, while asleep you are in a state of tranquility. Sleep does not automatically mean tranquility. If you are having a nightmare, for instance, you would be in a state of hell, and if you are dreaming of your lover, you may as well be in a state of rapture, or not, as the case may be. Then the alarm goes off, you wake up because the state of animality is momentarily activated, in this case manifesting itself in the instinct of fear. As soon as you awake and realize that you are not being attacked, the knowledge that you have to get out of the warm and comfortable bed to face the rigors of the world plunges you even more momentarily straight into hell. Seeing that as raining keeps you there, as you get dressed, however, animality reasserts itself as you start to feel hungry. You might logically think that feeling hungry means you're in a state of hunger, but, as Daisaku Ikeda further explains, there is a difference between hunger, where source is ferociousness, and the hunger that comes from normal instinct. This is the difference between the state of hunger and those in the mindless state of animality. Driven by animality into the kitchen, you start to prepare breakfast. Once again, though your state changes when the cat meows, you realize after a short moment that she is hungry too. That realization indeed of all realizations you have realized waking up, and you're very that realization indeed. All the realizations you have had since waking up, you're in very minor instances of the world of realization in your life. Deciding to feed the cat is an example of bodhisattva nature, or being altruistic, of wanting to help another being. While reading from the back of the cornflake pack, you find yourself in the state of learning. Then the letters arrive. Fear at the sight of letters could contain bad news, in another example of animality, and your assumption that the literature bill is wrong is an example of the state of anger. It is important to note that one does not necessarily have to be angry to be in a state of anger. Anger here is characterized by a contentious and arrogant attitude to others, those stupid bureaucrats at the electricity board in this instance. It does not matter what the bill might well be wrong. Anger shows itself as an automatic reaction that you are right. A moment later you think back to the winter. Anger passes away and hell reappears. You dream of a summer holiday. A true manifestation of the state of hunger and world of desire seems impossible. And then, as you discover you have got a generous tax rebate, the world of rapture explodes into your life. In fact, so strong that it completely changes your attitude